Good evening, fans, and welcome to Bell Line 5 TV1's coverage of the 2017 AUS Men's Basketball Championships, live here from the Scotiabank Center in Halifax. I'm Alan April, joined here by Adam Detien. And Adam, in our second quarterfinal tonight, we've got a great matchup, some star power in the building as the St. Mary's Huskies take on the stfx X-Men and AUS MVP Kevin Bursey.
Kevin Bursey is an animal out there, walking double-double, conference MVP. He's the emotional leader, not in the rah-rah kind of way. He's the silent, cool assassin. He's going to take you aside and tell you how to get it done. Leads it by example. He's going to have his hands full with the Shulual tonight, but this team, stfx, they keep it up pace, upbeat. There's your guy, Martindale. If he gets in there tonight, he's going to mix it up for sure. But the thing about stfx is that they can extend the ball game in terms of speed with Akil Charles. He gets that ball up, coming off a great final home game in his career down at the Olin Center. They took down UPEI last Saturday. You and I had the call on that one. But man, St. Mary's just loaded, and this is going to be a war.
And on the other side, the St. Mary's Huskies, led by three high-scoring fifth-year players, Marquis Clayton, Theon Reefer, and Brian Rose. Of course, they have one of the most rabid fan bases in the conference, and you can expect the atmosphere here at the Scotiabank Center to be electric. What do the Huskies need to do tonight to advance to the semifinals against UNB tomorrow?
I think good shots is always a thing that St. Mary's wants to battle with. Marquis Clayton feels like he can make them from anywhere on the court, and he can, but it's when St. Mary's uses all their weapons that they get things going. Brian Rouse is a league all-star this year. He's an assassin, and Theon Reefer can really extend it at the 4 spot. He can extend defense, a shooter from the outside, so quick off the dribble, has explosive leaping ability to both rebound and finish at the rim. If these guys could share the basketball and have that team concept, which Kamara Lee, for that matter, is a great leader in that sense. He's going to step up even more so after great experience on this court last year. They're loaded to go if they could do it together.
It should be a great matchup. It's coming up right after these messages on Bell Line 5 TV1. Right now, we're going to throw it over to the in-house PA announcer, Glenn McInnes, for the player introductions.
Men's Basketball Championship, presented by G-Series. Our second game of the night features, as the visiting team from St. Francis Xavier University in Antigonish, the X-Men finished the Atlantic University Sport regular season in 6th place with a record of 9 wins and 11 losses. And as the home team from the south end of Halifax, St. Mary's University. The Huskies finished off the regular season in 3rd place with 13 victories and 7 losses. The winner of this match will face UNB Varsity Reds at 8:30 tomorrow night. Now for the head coaches. This man needs no introduction. He's been coaching for 4 decades plus. Please welcome Steve Konchelski. And from St. Mary's, in his 5th year behind the bench and a former standout for the Huskies, say hello to Jonah Tossig. Now for the starting lineup. From stfx, a guard at 6'1", in his 4th year from East Preston, Nova Scotia, number 1, Devontae Provo. From St. Mary's at guard at 6'5", in his 5th and final year from Mississauga, number 7, Brian Rose. A power forward, if there ever was one, a defensive machine at 6'7", in his 4th year from Canada, Ontario. Say hello to number 7, Kevin Bursey. At guard at 5'9", in a 5th and final year from Halifax, Nova Scotia, number 8, Marquis Clayton. At guard, at 6'3", in his 4th year, from Woodbridge, Ontario, wearing number 8, Julius Antoine. For the Huskies, at guard, at 6'2", year number 3, from Scarborough, Ontario, number 12, Keemar Aline. At center for the X-Men, at 6'7", in his 4th year, from Dallas, Texas, please welcome number 13, Cameron Walker. For St. Mary's, at forward, at 6'8", in his 4th year, from Ottawa, number 21, Achu Luau. And at guard for St. FX, that's 6'1", in his final year, in the 5th, from Glendale, Minnesota, please welcome number 14, Akil Charles. And at last, at guard and a forward, at 6'6", in his 4th year, from Toronto, Ontario, say hello to number 22, Theon Reefer. Tonight's officials, from Nova Scotia, Mr. Paul Hansen. Also from Nova Scotia, back many times, Al King. And we're very happy to have from Newfoundland, Alicia Bird.
Well, Adam, the St. FX X-Men, they may come into the playoffs with a losing record at 9-11, but this is not a matchup St. Mary's is taking lightly. The X-Men beat the Huskies twice in the regular season this season, and AUS MVP went off in those games to the tune of 24 points and 13 boards per game. That's Kevin Bursey. What makes Bursey such a difficult matchup for this Huskies team?
Well, you're going to see the nature of St. FX's offense is high-low oriented. Cameron Walker's going to dominate the low block. Kevin Bursey's so good, foul line extended, can hit that elbow jumper, has length, he can get to the basket in 1-2 steps with his long legs, quick dribble, and he finishes it with authority. He is one of the best throwdowns of the year at St. Mary's. February 3rd there earlier this month at the Hauberg Center. These two teams went to bat in what was a great contest. And the thing is, he has passing ability as well. He knows when to find Walker or when to kick it out to his guards. Solid screener, so he's going to be a lot to deal with.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. The Scotiabank Center is packed. The crowd is amped. And a little bit of an anticlimactic start. They're going to throw it up again here for the jump ball. And Cameron Walker wins it for St. FX.
And don't let that record fool you at 9-11. They were at the top of the table for a long time. This conference so tight from top to bottom. Just happened that's how they finished.
Loose ball will remain X-Men ball here as these two teams feel each other out, but it won't take long. Again, these two teams met twice with the X-Men beating the Huskies in their 2 regular season games, 91-81, 85-83, but a couple of bounces, couple of made shots, and either of those games could have gone the other way. This is Akil Charles, the 5th-year guard out of Maryland. Charles takes a screen from Bursey and kicks it down to Julius Antoine. Antoine cuts, hangs in the lane, can't finish, but the offensive rebound, Kevin Bursey can't control it, and the Huskies going to get their first offensive possession here.
That's another thing that he does is with his long arms, tracks the ball, tips it to himself. Didn't get that one, but they're going to have to block him out hard.
See the X-Men coming out in a full court press and dropping down into a 3-2 zone D. Interesting look here for the Huskies. Keemar Aline. One-step pull-up jumper, can't get it to go. Cameron Walker cleans up the glass.
2 games in a row here, Alan. Tonight the team opens up on zone defense. Acadia in the last one, and now St. FX. We'll see if St. Mary's is prepared for that.
Provo looking to work it down for Walker. Walker takes the contact and finishes, headed to the line for a chance at 3 the old-fashioned way. And when you mention this 1-2 punch in the St. FX front court, you need to talk about Cameron Walker.
Well, great feed there. Provo just threads the needle. And this is the Cameron Walker where he's on balance. We talked about the tail of 2 guys in the post. When he's going towards the basket, when he's elevating, when he knows where his defender is to find that space for a shot, is when he's great. It's when he fades away, kind of bangs and tosses it up, that he gets himself in trouble. Traditionally, he hasn't finished as well as he has the second half of the season. Let's see if he carries it over to the playoffs.
Walker able to convert from the line, give the X-Men an early 3-0 advantage. Theon Reefer, long ball, gets it to go, and Theon Reefer fired up here in front of the Huskies' faithful crowd.
Well, he's going to rise up and shoot that one over Antoine. Yeah, the zone's trying to keep you out there, but that's a clean look for him, even though Antoine's on top of him.
Keel Charles puts it on the floor, drives, can't finish, but he's heading the line to shoot too, and 2 quick fouls against the Huskies in the first minute and a half of this one.
And that's twice in a row that the Huskies have had decent position with their feet, but have their hands reached out over the top. Luau's foul was that way, and now this one yeah, it was Reefer. His arms just in there. Smart, intelligent offense goes up through that contact. Couldn't get it to go by Charles, but he's picked up right where he left off to finish the regular season.
Yeah, Charles had a monster game on his senior night, the final game of stfx's season, in a big OT win against the UPI Panthers, and that actually ended a 5-game losing streak for the X-Men to finish off the regular season.
And they needed that one. Confidence is a big thing. You want to go into playoffs peaking on a roll, but outside shooting from these big men, that's going to open up the paint for the drivers eventually.
And that's one of the things Ashwil Lual does best, as there he knocks down the 18-footer. Lual, truly an inside-outside type of big man, as is Kevin Bursey. Bursey looks for the return pass in the post from Antoine, goes up with the left hand, can't finish. Reefer with the rebound, and the Huskies want to push. Marquis Clayton. Clayton hangs in the air, can't finish, and Lual, big collision there between Julius Antoine and Brian Rose, and the foul's going to go against Rose. So that's 3 team fouls already in this one for the Huskies, and take a look at the contact there.
That's a big collision. But the take early on by Clayton, that's a difference in the defense we talked about. Bursey challenged that one, but was straight up. Jumped straight up and down. Clayton ended up out of bounds. That's the type of defense we're talking about with the tall, high arms.
Post touch now for Walker. Going back at Lual. Can't finish that time on the hook, and that time he faded away a bit. Now Theon Reefer. Reefer, the 5th-year swingman. Really a pro-type perimeter player. In tough tonight against Bursey, and Bursey gets the steal that time. Now the X-Men come the other way. Provo, lightning quick, up and in off the glass, and that's one of the things Devontae Provo can do. He gets from end to end just as quick as any player in the conference.
Yeah, when he and Akil Charles decide that they're going to move down the court, they get from foul line to foul line faster than any 2 guys in the league. And then if there's a hole to punch, Provo hits it like he just did. And if he has to pull it out, he does that with ease and calls the set. These are great guards to have on the ball.
Theon Reefer with another pretty move offensively. The tough turnaround jumper in Kevin Bursey's face. That's 5 points early on for Reefer.
Well, listen, Theon Reefer has had great numbers. He didn't get in the conference all-stars this year. He's a little something to prove here tonight, and you can tell his energy is up.
Mara Lane with the steal, comes the other way and finishes around Bursey. And the Huskies, with a little bit of pep in their step early on, take a 9-6 lead here.
I like Elaine. He forces it right down the gut of the defense, and his attitude is calm, which is a little bit of a contrast to a lot of these Huskies guys. I like what he brings to the squad. Great D there as well.
Charles feeds Walker in the low post. Kick back out for Charles. Step back 3-ball. That's off. And Marquis Clayton gets the rebound. Clayton looking to finish off his legendary AUS career strong in front of his hometown fans, the Halifax native. Reefer, step back jumper, that's too strong. And Antoine with a nice job of hustling down that defensive board. Provo again, so quick, like he was shot out of a cannon, and able to finish with a tough reverse layup.
Well, he ducks under 2 bodies so well. That's the biggest thing. Scoops through, and then the touch to find the glass like that is impressive. Now we have a whistle. That's tough. Rouse thought for sure he got fouled. He literally stopped playing. We had no signal initially from the official. See, Bursey's trying to back up and sell it. Now she signals it. So big spot here.
Back down to Antoine on the block, and he is fouled. And that's 14 fouls already for the Huskies, and we're not even halfway through. In fact, that's the second personal for Brian Rose. So Will Fyander, the scrappy guard, is going to check in off of Coach Jonah Tossing's bench.
The reason I thought that was an important possession for St. FX is that both of these teams go on runs, and they like to control the game with energy and big bursts. St. FX is on one of those little runs now. Reefer tried to do it all himself in that last possession, took a bad shot over Bursey, 0 pass offensive possession. X runs the floor, gets a couple quick baskets, and now they're to the free throw line. St. Mary's was up early, now St. FX has a couple buckets, and they're feeling good. So we'll see if the Huskies can calm things down here, move the ball.
And the X-Men, we talked about that experienced starting lineup, all 4th and 5th years, but they have a youthful bench. Seeing some of them now with first-year Nick Russell and second-year Tristan Ross, as Elaine's 3-ball is long, but a good offensive rebound there by Lual. Now Clayton, 6 on the shot clock. Antoine hits the deck. Clayton for 3, that's off. And Bursey able to chase down the rebound, one of the leading rebounders in the country with over 11 per game. Provo now looking to feed Bursey in the post and turns it over. Tried to force it to him and just wasn't there. Clayton hangs in the air and he's fouled. It's going to be on the baseline here. Foul coming against Tristan Ross.
If you're 3 guys and you see Marquise Clayton coming, first of all, someone put your chest in front of the basketball. Secondly, try not to reach in on this guy. He's kicking that one out. Probably saved him an open shot. Lual hits that from the outside. But a poor turnover at the other end. Provo forces it into the back of a Huskies player. That's not what X wanted to do when they were trying to assert themselves.
Now Theon Reefer, one-on-one with the first-year Nicholas Russell. Reefer puts the moves on Russell and dots the shot in his face. Reefer with a quick 7 points, and the Huskies lead by 2.
Saddle up, young fella. Nick Russell just got introduced to the AUS playoffs.
Now Russell to answer, and he does. Knocks down a 3 of his own. Theon Reefer says, my bad, as Russell, an exciting player. We called his game last week. He's 6'6", but he can really stretch the floor with his 3-point shooting.
Guts for Nick Russell to put that one up. He auditioned for a little bit more extended minutes in that regular season finale and showed well for himself. Just like that was huge.
Russell with the huge swat from behind. Provo in the open court, can't finish. Bursey, everyone hits the deck. It's the AUS Championship. Who wants it more? And Tristan Ross's jumper is off. Another offensive rebound for Bursey. Provo now for 3. Can't get it to go, but Bursey again, and Nicholas Russell is there. The St. FX X-Men showing some great hustle on that offensive possession.
Look at Bursey work inside. It's got a touch on all kinds of bodies. Bursey's full sweat here. It's the opening 6:45. I tell you, to have a guy as established as he is lead the charge, he's going to get a break here. Pass is going to come in with good reason. But the thing is about St. FX, you're going to give these guys that many shots. Doesn't matter who's shooting. Antoine can hit them. Ross can't. Passley just checked in. He can hit the outside shot. Russell's proven it. Look out for number 6, just checked in as well. Justin Andrew. He has deep, big time 3-point range.
Huskies trailing by 3. Clayton looking to tie it up. That's off. And Russell with a big rebound. He's bringing some big-time energy for Coach Kinchalski's X-Men. Tristan Ross with the crossover and the finish. What a take by Tristan Ross. And the X-Men are fired up here. A couple of great possessions for St. FX.
It's a youth movement in there for the X-Men. Check out Tristan Ross. See you later, Will Fyander. Your boy Martindale had no chance to go block that one. And that's a strong finish. 2 games in a row now, elite 3-point shooters. De Palma for Acadia in the last one, and now Ross in this one, taking it to the rack and showing well for themselves inside. AUS basketball at its finest. That was an upbeat opening quarter. And speaking of that youth movement, we're going to take a little look here at that
duel that's started in that first quarter between Theon Reefer, the 5th year, and Nicholas Russell, the 1st year.
Well, check out this sequence. Reefer shakes Russell out of his shoes, knocks it down. Very next trip down the floor, Russell answers it with a shot, drops back on defense. Huskies try to get a second chance here on this one, but rising up there, telegraphed. Not sure how Elaine didn't see him actually. Nonetheless, count that one for Nick Russell. He's a guy who's just kind of out there playing basketball. It's like he's not even feeling the moment in his first game here at the Scotiabank Center. These guys are calm. Coach Konchowski seems to have them very prepared, very in the moment. This team hasn't been here in 2 years. You mentioned that in the opening. They want to keep extending this play throughout the weekend, and that's an opening start for themselves that really bodes well.
Yeah, the last 2 seasons were the first 2 seasons in Coach Konchowski's legendary 42-year career that his X-Men did not make the trip to the Scotiabank Center for AUS playoffs. And this year the team's back, led by Kevin Bursey, but they're hungry to get some success here under the bright lights of the Scotiabank Center. As Tristan Ross, with a rare miss from the free throw line, shoots 89% on the regular season. Reefer looking to find Martindale down low, and he can't handle that quick pass, so the X-Men with a 5-point lead here, looking to keep the momentum rolling.
Well, that's a little quick out of the timeout. You think St. Mary's want to come out and run something through here after getting a stop. Reefer forces that one. Martindale doesn't want it in that scenario, ended up turning it over.
Now Ross kicks it out for Charles. The X-Men, 4 of their 5 players on the floor are from their bench. Russell for 3, can't get that to go. There's Ross working on the offensive glass and able to, actually it's gonna go the other way, deflected. No, the official comes in and corrects it. It is gonna be X-Men ball on the baseline. And
That's the right call here. You see it bounces up, Ross tips it. He's gonna get it here at the last second. Finer comes in. That's a good catch.
And that shot was off, but the X-Men just doing an outstanding job on the offensive glass. There's Andrew from deep, can't get that to go, and finally the Huskies able to get a defensive rebound. They want to slow things down. Clayton calling a play. 2 minutes to play here in the first quarter. The Huskies trail by 5. Clayton now kicks it out for Martindale. 18-footer, gets it to go. Soft touch there by big Brent Martindale off the bench.
Well, he's lucky that went in because he had 2 elite scorers wide open on the wing. They took a lot of time in that possession to get anything going, ended up with 2.
Daniel Passley now. Passley working on Martindale, can't finish the up and under.
Nice block out for Martindale as well.
Now Clayton looking to knife into the lane, puts it up, can't finish, but Martindale is there for the offensive rebound, and Daniel Passley going to be called for a foul here. As both coaches playing the matchups, Kevin Bursey comes to the scorer's table, and Coach Jonah Tossick trying to decide what to do. He's going to send in the first-year Cordero James for his first action here at the Scotiabank Center.
Well, Bursey didn't get long of a rest.
And there's James right away, but he's whistled for the travel. Dragged that pivot foot, was wide open underneath after the pump fake.
Yeah, didn't realize how open he was necessarily. Now Reefer's going to get his rest. Luwal's back into the game. We'll see if he can match the rebounding energy of Bursey. 4 offensive rebounds for stfx to start this game.
Keel Charles, 5th-year guard out of Maryland, gets it over to Tristan Ross. Ross now down low for Bursey, working on Martindale. Charles thought about a 3, now he'll take one. That rims out, but Passley is there, and once again, the hoop and the harm for the X-Men, and cleaning up the defensive glass is becoming a big issue for the Huskies. That's 6 offensive rebounds in this first quarter for stfx.
Yeah, I mean, ring it up. You see, no one puts a body on him. Luwal gets lost. Martindale, he's doing his job blocking a guy out. He's saying, even if it's not your man, someone's got to go get him. They're coming downhill and converting on the 3-point play that time were the X-Men.
The X-Men, 4 of 7 from the free throw line. The Huskies still yet to find themselves on the stripe. That time a little miscommunication between Clayton and Martindale, and the pass sails out of bounds for a turnover.
4 turnovers now for the Huskies as well. They're not only getting quality shots, they're tough to get a shot period now.
Charles now off for Pasley. Post touch here for the AUS MVP, Kevin Bursey. Bursey's jumper is off, and Cordero James comes in to scoop up a much-needed rebound for the Huskies. Finder, defended by Ross. Takes the screen from Lual, feeds it down low for Martindale, who can't finish on the reverse, but there's Finder to get an offensive rebound of his own.
Well, role players are going to have to step up for St. Mary's here and make a difference. Finder turns the corner on Ross. They're really trying to work that back door pass and attempted finish for Martindale, but he's had a turnover and a miss that time. Luckily for the Huskies, the rebounder was fouled.
10 on the shot clock, about a 1 second difference, game and shot. Clayton, cross-court pass for Finder for 3, gets it to go. Wi-Fi connects from deep, and what a pass, cross-court by Marquis Clayton. That'll finish off the first quarter with the stfx X-Men leading the SMU Huskies 19-16.
And that's what they needed. I mean, Rouse and Clayton didn't score. Martindale couldn't really get his offense going, but he blocked out a lot in a big 3 from Finder to get them on the board within a possession.
Well, we're going to step aside for a quick break, but coming up right after these messages, more AUS Championship basketball action live on Bell Lion 5 TV1.
Gatorade Perform. Fuel's better than water. Fuel better, perform better.
After one quarter, stfx leading 19-16. Found some very excited basketball fans in the stands. Let's find out who these kids are. First of all, you ready? Tell me your name.
Ryan, Reese, Owen, Camden, Garland, Maddox, Andrew, Merdoche.
And look right up there and tell everybody watching on TV1 who you're cheering for. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Who you cheering for?
Huskies!
There it is. Lots of Husky faithful in the crowd tonight, guys.
Yeah, there really are. That's one of the great things about the AUS Championships. I remember watching when I was about that age here at the Scotiabank Center, and it's a great family-fueled entertainment for the whole family all weekend long. 10 games between the men's and the women's tournament over 3 days.
You know, I think it was a great point that Coach Augie Jones brought up in the women's broadcast early today, is that these guys are legitimate role models for minor basketball players, for even younger basketball players, high school people looking to get to the AUS. This is a display of talent, and when you get a team playing as hard as St. FX, if you're a coach, you're sitting with your team, or you're sitting with a couple guys that play for you, you want to say, that's what's going to separate you from everyone else on your team, in your league. And these guys, a guy like Kevin Bursey, true ambassador for the league, had great words at the banquet, goes out there, puts on display, practicing what he preaches. It's been a fun ball game.
As indeed, 19-16 is the score as we begin this second quarter. This is Marquis Clayton. Clayton named a first-team AUS All-Star last night from deep, can't get it to go. And St. FX and Devontae Provo able to secure the rebound.
Well, it's the second time the Huskies come out of a timeout and now a quarter break with just a quick shot, no pass. That's not what you need to do. You got to come out organized and do something there.
Post touch here for Walker. He goes up, can't finish. Finder with the rebound, and the Huskies look to push. Lual down low for Martindale. Martindale working under the basket, can't finish, second chance, gets it to go. And that's just the effort level that Brent Martindale brings every time he's out on the court.
Yeah, there's a reason he's sticking out there to start the quarter, is that he's done just that on the glass. Tough initial take, but stuck with it.
Now Bursey, the AUS MVP, kicks it out. Return pass down low, Bursey working, can't finish. Great defensive positioning there by Lual on the block.
Twice in a row, Lual's held his ground really well, forced a tough shot. Bursey fortunate to not pick up a foul in that last rebound.
Finder has his pocket picked by Provo, the inside out dribble, and the X-Men off and running, and Kevin Bursey throws it down on the putback. And that's the X-Men out in transition where they really are tough to stop.
The initial take from Charles was great. He had a lot of contact, got it up there, but Mr. Everything was there to clean it up.
That's the first bucket of the game for Bercy, the AUS MVP. Lual's jumper is off. Here comes Justin Andrew. Andrew, Bercy again, and that was not a replay. Once again, Kevin Bercy in transition with a monstrous one-handed throwdown.
Well, stfx is doing a great job of keeping the ball out of the hands of the lead scorers. Clayton's not scoring right now. Lual was guarded at length. He hits it from there. They knew it, stepped out on the shot, and then they're just running in transition. Huskies need to get back in defense.
Clayton that time stripped by Andrew. Once again, stfx in transition. Provo is denied there by Martindale, but gets the ball back. And finally a defensive rebound here for the Huskies, and they want to slow it down.
Yeah, smart move. See if they can get Martindale in some screening action, something going on here to open up Clayton's game.
Cordero James for three, and that's good. And Cordero James, the first year, not feeling the nerves here at the Scotiabank Center as he knocks down the triple.
He's a great player, all-rookie team member of the AUS this year. James been a real X-factor in several Huskies victories.
Bercy, Huskies bring the double team, he kicks it out. Provo now, caught up in the air. Provo shoots, and St. Mary's wanted a travel call on that one.
Well, it's an interesting one. He pump fakes, his right foot is planted the whole time. He steps down. By the time he dribbles it, he still has that pivot foot. It looks strange, but he did well to extend his reach with his legs.
And now the full court press causing some problems for the Huskies, but they're able to break it, and Cordero James once again finishes 5 straight points for the first year out of Woodbridge, Ontario.
Well, the thing is about that last shot is James is in rhythm. They finally get the ball in the hands of a guy who's feeling good. So stfx now, their role is these starters have come in, but you have to be aware of who's coming into the game in terms of next man up for the Huskies. James is hot, but Reefer's going to look to get involved immediately in the offense. Can't fall asleep on him and get a Huskies run.
Now Walker working on Lual, and he's whistled for the travel. So the Huskies now with a chance to tie it back up at 25, and they've got a little bit of positive momentum. Rose and Reefer back into the game for St. Mary's.
It's been up and down now in 3 minutes and 30 seconds, no fouls. Lots of space on this court.
Reefer for three, hits it to go. Theon Reefer doing it inside and out. He's got 10 points already in this one.
Yeah, and there it is. He gets the ball, hit one from that spot earlier in the ball game. Bercy misses the closeout. Bang, Smews in the lead.
X-Men swinging around the perimeter. That time another turnover forced by Elaine. And now the Huskies want to run. Reefer turned that one over, was looking to redirect it towards Rouse and just didn't get enough behind that pass. So now the X-Men trailing for the first time in this game. Lual with the steal. Rouse goes down, and Coach Jonah Tossig wanted a foul called. James again for three, that time off back rim.
And he has a point on that one. Fortunately, Huskies kept the ball and did get a shot on the possession.
X-Men gonna run some clock here, set up a play. Akil Charles. Charles is tied up by Cordero James, and that's gonna remain X-Men ball, but another good defensive play by the first year Cordero James.
Well, X is struggling for some point guard play now. Provo's had 2 bad angle turnovers. Charles all of a sudden is forcing it. Justin Andrews gonna come in for Charles. I'm not sure if I would have left him and perhaps taken Provo out of the game for a little breather to gather himself. Nonetheless, Nick Russell's back in. See if he can be the same sort of 6-man X-factor as he was in the first quarter.
Provo gets it in for Andrew. Andrew, he'll shoot it from there, 30 feet out. That's off. And Elaine skies up for the defensive board.
It's one thing shooting that in your home gym. It's another thing trying to work yourself into a game in the AUS championships.
And Reefer attacks the basket. He is fouled. He'll head back to the line. Theon Reefer seems to be getting whatever he wants on the offensive end right now for the Huskies.
Yeah, you know, touch it, open three, got it. Touch it, drive down, still got the young guy on you, gets right into his body, smart play. This guy's doing it all.
Reefer now steps to the free throw line where he's 75% on the season. Averaged 17.5 points per game. The 5th year out of Toronto. And right now we're going to get a quick look at Tristan Arthurs. Arthurs, the 2nd year point guard out of BC. He's been a bit of a revelation for Coach Tausig's Huskies in the second half of this season. He's had some very solid performances and not a guy you can leave open from beyond the arc.
Well, you talk about working every day in practice and getting your shot when it counts.
Russell with the floater and another first year putting up big points. That's 7 now, and Nicholas Russell leads the X-Men in scoring.
Role players doing their thing in the playoffs. If you're going to win 3 games in 3 days like both of these teams are going to try to do, you're going to need some contributions like this.
Brian Rose putting the moves on. Arthurs now kicks it back out for Rose. Jumper is blocked by Bursey. Good closeout there by Kevin Bursey. Now Provo up, can't finish. Bursey on the putback attempt. And a great save there by Brian Rose. Now Reefer in the open court. Cuts through with the Euro step, and that's going to be a blocking foul. Reefer headed right back to the free throw line where he just knocked down a pair.
Yeah, Andrew got himself set way too late on that one. Coming right down with speed was Reefer. Nice headman pass from Arthurs. You see, he tries to get himself in there, backtracks, no chance you're getting that call. And see, the thing is about Theon Reefer, his guard skills, normally a big man's thinking, oh, I'll jog back with my guy. He's looking for the ball headman position. It was a tough pass, got it knocked down, gathered himself, back to the free throw line.
And Reefer now up to 14 points, leading all scorers. 4 of 5 from the field, 4 of 4 from the free throw line.
Provo's all sorts out of whack out there now.
And the X-Men once again, turnover, and here comes Reefer. Huge throwdown with the left hand. Theon Reefer feeling good here. The 5th year, putting the team on his back. He's got 16 of the Huskies' 32.
Well, now it's the Huskies run we were talking about. Can there be an answer?
And another turnover there for the X-Men. Let's take another look at this thunderous jam in transition by number 22 in white and maroon.
The left hand stares down the student section and forces stfx into a timeout almost single-handedly. Coach K's out looking for a foul. He better get in the huddle and coach his team because they're on the ropes right now. This is not going to do jack all for you. You know, if his team only has 2 fouls against them, I get it. The Huskies don't have any personal fouls yet in the quarter. That's because they're just getting the ball off of turnovers. They're not forcing them into any tough defensive positions like they were in the first quarter. They're not getting downhill in transition quickly like they were. And hey, this is credit to St. Mary's. They locked down the defensive end and it's translating into points.
Yeah, and right now the Huskies are on a 14-2 run. Right now we're going to throw it down to the 3rd member of our crew, Scott Squires, on the sideline. Scott?
Thanks, Alan, and I know that you can feel it in the building. You can feel it wherever you're watching on 5TV1, but the energy swing in the building and on the benches has been amazing in the last few minutes. Since St. Mary's has gone on that big run, the stfx bench a little more quiet, their fans quiet, and with that last play a couple of moments ago, the entire St. Mary's bench and all of their fans up, hooting, hollering, and cheering. And again, right now, you can feel the energy difference. St. Mary's on a high at the moment, guys.
Thanks, Scott. Yeah, you can really feel the energy here at the Scotiabank Center. Great crowd. I don't even want to estimate the number here, but it's a full house on a Friday night. And the Huskies faithful are making some noise as their team's on a 14-2 run.
It's great, Alan, and we mentioned they had a couple tough possessions coming out of breaks, but for the most part, it's been good shots. Their percentage is great. They're 4 of 8 from 3.
Tristan Arthurs.
Got another one. There's your guy.
They actually called that a long 2, had a foot on the line, but showing what he can do if you leave him open. Arthurs and the young Huskies making contributions off the bench.
Arthurs and Flyander with key buckets.
Bursey now, the double team comes, and he's fouled. Huskies can't believe it, and I spoke with Coach Joe Natase before the game a little bit, asking, are you going to double team Kevin Bursey? He went off in the 2 matchups against St. Mary's this year, averaged 24 points per game. Jonas said, I really don't want to double with the 3-point shooters they have. You can't be leaving a man open, but we'll see it sometimes. And that was a good example of a well-timed double team right there.
Well, and the other thing, he's dribbling into a sea of white jerseys. You know, they were smart to crowd it. They saw him coming. He was thinking shot the whole way. You know, a lead tough reach in on the foul. But Luell's been doing a decent job of bodying up, moving his feet. Almost a turnover that time.
As Justin Andrew now, 4 on the shot clock. Julius Antoine's going to have to get something going, and does. Tough lefty floater in the lane by Julius Antoine, the former high school teammate of Andrew Wiggins, an NBA Rookie of the Year.
You see, that's about as hard as it gets, though, or as easy as it gets for stfx, and that's a really hard shot, I guess is what I'm trying to say. They're having to work very difficult circumstances on almost every shot.
And once again, Antoine, off the nice delivery from Justin Andrew, able to cut it back to a 3-point Huskies lead.
And as I say that, what fixes that is quicker transition.
Kamara Lane looking to push it up ahead in transition to Arthurs. 4-3, that just rims out. And this one's starting to open up into a track meet again. Bursey. Blows by Luell and finishes, and the help defense just wasn't there. Confusion for the Huskies.
And this is where it gets a little bit dangerous, is that they start talking to each other. Gets a little frustrated internally with the squad.
Clayton kicks a lane open 4-3, that's short. But Clayton, the shortest man on the court, able to get the offensive rebound. And he is fouled. Foul's going to go against Justin Andrew.
You know, Al, one of my things is that trying to draw charges or draw 3-point shooting fouls, you're putting yourself on the ground. You may or may not get the whistle. That time, Tristan Ross tried to draw a charge. He wasn't getting that, wasn't close to being there in time. His guy stays on his feet, goes underneath the rim, grabs the rebound, and gets fouled by Ross's teammate. So if he's there to block him out instead of trying to draw that, you know, that's one thing where you put yourself at a man disadvantage. And that's not just him doing that. You see that across these games all the time that happens. But that's just a little personal rant on that one. But see, this is what fixes it for the X-Men, is when they're moving with speed, allows guys to catch up with the play. You see another turnover by St. Mary's. Andrew gets it to Bursey. Those are back-to-back dunks you mentioned, not a replay. And then quicker downhill. That's a decision by Antoine to go into the body off the catch. He didn't let St. Mary's defense get set. And that time they just fell asleep there as the dribble got on the baseline for a back pass.
Yeah, and we mentioned their youth coming off the bench, guys like Russell and Ross contributing. But when it comes down to it, it's Antoine, it's Bursey. Those are the leaders. Those are the guys who got the X-Men this year in their 4th year. And they have the coach of Steve Konchowski to get them a bucket when they need it most. And we saw right there some big baskets by them, able to cut this back to a 1-point game.
You know, what's interesting, Alan, is that both teams have gone on fairly significant momentum runs with back-to-back buckets, 3-4 consecutive buckets, yet no one's been able to pull away in the game. So it's been a testament to each team staying the course, understanding that's the nature of this ball game, is that you got to stay emotionally level and stay with it. Both teams have done a nice job of that. Substitutions have been big in this one too, Alan, staying ready and making a contribution.
As that time, Arthurs thought about shooting before he even caught the pass, and it's going to be a turnover. So the X-Men now with a chance to take the lead. They were trailing by 7 just moments ago.
Big chance here for one of these teams to finish the quarter. Going into halftime with the lead is going to be important.
Antoine finds Bursey on the block. Bursey has it stripped, and here comes Clayton in transition. Clayton, beautiful dish to Kamara Lane. Perfect pass in a lane, streaking down the floor for the finish.
Great speed. Another scenario, Bursey goes across the lane instead of to the rack, meets jerseys, turnover, great push by Marquis.
Provo now waits for the screen from Russell, trying to take advantage of the matchup with Arthurs, and good defense by Arthurs forces the miss. As turnover there, and Nicholas Russell The 6'6" first year playing like a point guard coming the other way. Tristan Ross gets his defender in the air, can't knock it down, but that's going to be a foul. And you want to close out on a three-point shooter, but that time Luol just a little too aggressive on his closeout.
Well, when you're 6'11", you have a built-in advantage of just being tall and holding your ground and still being decent. He bid on that one. This time, just stick your hand out. If he doesn't run there and sticks it up, Ross is going to feel his presence. If he makes it, okay. Again, tough shot on an escape dribble. But the thing is about Luol now, he goes to the bench with 2 personals. It's the end of the second quarter, so they're going to avoid significant time without him. He'll be able to come back in the second half. But that still hurts his aggressiveness to try to guard Bursey in the third.
As Ross misses the second, shooting 3 here.
Martindale just pulled a JaVale McGee and thought the play was still going.
Shacked and a fool as Tristan Ross, the second-year guard out of Truro, an AUS all-rookie team member last year, struggling from the free throw line. He's 1 of 4 on the day.
And that'll add up. Free throws and defense. Playoff basketball.
And coming the other way, Kamara Lane is fouled while attacking the glass, so that's going to put him on the line for 2. Foul coming against Kevin Bursey, and that's going to be Bursey's second.
Yeah, that hurts. Same deal for Bursey. You know, he's trying to block shots. He's trying to get into the body of whoever he's guarding, where in this case, Theon Reefer trying to deal with that beast of a scorer. And Antoine at the end of that play is trying to talk to the guys and say, be there first. If someone's going to get blown by, you need to be a little quicker in your reaction. But Aline at such speed, sometimes you just don't have a chance to get set up.
Aline goes 1 of 2 from the free throw line, and now Bursey's going to take a seat. Cameron Walker replaces him. So 38 seconds to go. 3-point Huskies advantage here in the first half. Prova off now for Julius Antoine. Antoine drives, puts it up and in, and another 3-point play. The X-Men have gotten a lot of chances at 3-point plays in this game, just being aggressive, driving to the basket.
Yeah, trying to make something out of nothing. Great job in the post. Reefer was fronting Cam Walker. They wanted to dump it in there as they brought him across on the screen play. That time, you just got to keep your guy in front of you. You know, everyone else is doing their job behind you in the defense. Sometimes on ball is where it's at. Big 3-point play to draw level here. Huskies can hold for 1 shot, but that was nice for stfx to stabilize themselves.
So the shot clock is off. 23.2 seconds remain in the first half. The X-Men coming out in a full court press. Reefer brings it across the timeline, and he's going to kill some time as the Huskies try to set up their offense. Reefer able to make Russell slip. He's going to be shooting this one. Reefer drives, puts it up, and gets it to go. Theon Reefer continues to show his skills in this first half.
Nothing you can do to deal with that. Shook him 3 times really on the perimeter, then decided it was time to get downhill. Did so. Cameron Walker fortunate to not draw the foul. Reefer got popped from the side by Cam as well. This guy came into this ball game and said, I'm going to put the team on my back. 5 of 6 shooting, 2 of 2 from downtown, 4 of 4 from the line. That's a complete basketball game. They got away with the lead here with Marquise Clayton not doing anything at all. 0 points, and you know he's coming, so look out.
Absolutely, and we're going to throw it down now for more from Scott Squires and Huskies coach Joe Natasa. Scott?
Thanks, Alan. Coach, if you look up and down the stat line from that first half, not a lot of difference between these 2 teams. You do have a 2-point lead going into the half. What were some things that you liked about your team in that first half?
Tough question. No, you know, I thought we defended better in the second quarter for sure. Like we're defending well, but we're not finishing possessions. They're killing us on the offensive glass. So we gotta block out. We gotta rebound. I think we'd be in a much better position.
And that being said, what is going to be your main message to your team at the halftime? Looks like it's going to be a tough one right down to the wire.
Yeah, they're a good team. You know, I think it's a tough matchup for us. We've played 3 close games this year. We got to get back on defense, slow them down in transition, and then we got to limit them to 1 shot.
Coach, thanks for your time. Good luck second half.
Thank you.
We'll step aside, take a break. It's St. Mary's leading by 2. You're watching Subway AUS Final 6 live and exclusively on 5TV1. We'll be back.
When you're heading out on the roads or sending the kids off to school, having an accurate weather forecast is important.
It's a classic nor'easter, in fact.
No one takes the signs of weather more seriously than CTV Atlantic's chief meteorologist, Cindy Day.
Chilly temperatures on the way, Steve.
Cindy's comprehensive forecast and most accurate outlook will prepare you for what's ahead on TV, online, and in your community. Find out first with Cindy Day, the meteorologist more Maritimers trust.
Is that 5TV?
Oh, you know it, man.
With ultra-stunning 4K picture quality.
I love using Restart.
I use that all the time.
We love having Crave TV and Netflix right on it.
And having all my TVs set up wirelessly, it's amazing.
Can you imagine some people still don't have 5TV?
I don't have it. Because I was living abroad.
With so many reasons to love 5TV, it's time to make the switch to the best TV service.
Halftime here of this men's quarterfinal game. St. Mary's leading stfx by the slimmest of margins, 39-37. Very honored and pleased now to be joined by Morley Gugu, the Regional Chief for Assembly of First Nations for Newfoundland and for Nova Scotia. Chief, first of all, welcome. How are you enjoying yourself?
Excellent. I think it's a very great time here. It's great to watch some great basketball, and very honored and glad to be here.
Now, we're going to have something very special on TV1 just before the men's gold medal game on Sunday. It's all about reconciliation. What can you tell us about what's going to be taking place prior to the men's gold medal game on Sunday?
Well, before, I just want to thank Atlantic University Sport for taking the steps and the calls to action and to make sure that Aboriginal people and Indigenous people are viewed in a very beautiful way. So we are going to be able to do a grand entry, and our grand entry is going to be showcased and supported by our Mi'kmaq drummers, Michael R. Denny, and supported also by the Mayor of Halifax, our MP, and our MLAs joining us, showing that we're working all together to create a positive identity for our Mi'kmaq people. So we're doing the grand entry, and it's really proud time for us to showcase our culture and our identity, and to put a new spin on it. One that reconciliation says, be proud of your culture and our identity. And we want to show Nova Scotians and Canadians that we are proud and what a beautiful culture there is. And Atlantic University Sports is giving us that opportunity. I'm very proud of that.
Well, we're going to be very pleased and proud to be able to bring it to the viewers watching on 5TV1. I live in the Truro area, and of course, Millbrook First Nation, very prevalent there. My daughter has learned the national anthem in English, French, and Mi'kmaq. How important is it for you to not only learn about your own culture, but to have your culture known by folks who may be not overly familiar with what First Nation is all about?
It's so important. I was at a meeting once, and a guy asked me, what did the guy just say? I'm like, I don't know, he's Cree, right? So it's important for Canadians to know, and Nova Scotians, that we have only a Mi'kmaq tribe here in Nova Scotia, but there's 58 different tribes and languages. There's Mohawk, Dene, Cree, Ojibwe, and so on, Algonquin. So first step for reconciling is to know actually who and where we come from. You know, we're all Indigenous people, but we're not all the same people. We share a lot of common values, but it's important that we get Canadians to know that.
So if you wouldn't mind, we're going to send it to break, but I'd like you, if it's okay with you, in your language, to look in there and to say, we'll be right back, or however that might sound. Please go ahead. We'll be back.
Winter is no match for Subway's Chipotle Steak and Cheese with 100% Canadian seasoned steak. Canadian steak piled on bread versus Canadian snow piled on your car. There you have it. Beat winter with Subway's Chipotle Steak and Cheese. If you like this, you'll like this too. Introducing Budweiser Prohibition Brew. The first non-alcoholic beer that actually tastes like beer.
Gatorade Perform. Fuel's better than water. Fuel better, perform better.
Sweat. It says I was here. I worked here. It says I only have so much to give before I have to take. What I lose, I want to get back. Sweat says, I earned this. Gatorade, created to help replace what you sweat out.
It's halftime here of this men's quarterfinal game between stfx and St. Mary's. The Huskies leading the X-Men by 2. Very pleased now to be joined by a member of the two-time defending Atlantic University Sport men's basketball champions, Cashrell Lawrence. And Cash, first of all, what do you make of this game so far? A pretty close one.
This is very intense. This is what everybody came to see. There's a lot of people here today. They want to see intensity. They want to see their boys play, and they've come to play hard today.
Now, before we get any further, I know that Richie Kanzamata is the guy that's known for the red shoes, but you've got some pretty sweet red kicks on today. What's up with those?
I would say it's a Christmas present for my brother, 2 Christmases ago. He hooked me up. He said he wanted to go shopping, so we went to the shoe store. I saw some nice red ones, and I had to pick it up.
Looking pretty sweet. Maybe you can tell me where I can get a pair later on.
Try Sports Check. I'll say Sports Check.
All right, fair enough.
Go courtside on Quimpool.
Maybe we can get a sponsorship.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the game tomorrow. You guys are the two-time defending champions, and the one thing that you guys know is defense. So very important here at Scotiabank Center. What's Coach Rick Plato's message been to you guys in practice all week?
I mean, it's the same thing. Like we follow the same formula. It's always defense first, team second. Those are pretty much 1A, 1B. So we follow those 2 things. Put the team first and play hard on the defensive end, and it's been working well for us so far.
Of course, everybody in this area is so excited at the Final 8, the national championship back in Halifax. How hard is it to concentrate on this event when you know that you're going to be hosting nationals?
I mean, when you walk up like a pair of stairs, you can't just jump five at a time, right? You got to take it step by step, and that's the same thing that our guys are doing right now. We're all focused on this weekend, and after that, we can worry about nationals later.
Final thing for you, Cash. Of course, the 2 championships are huge, but in the last couple of years, what have been a couple of things away from the court that have really made an impact in your life?
I would say the support of the whole Dallas community. It's a big family. You might not know it based on sports or something like that, but the thing is, everybody's so supportive. They're very encouraging, and it's really meant a lot to me over the last couple of years.
Last thing for you, I said last thing, but this is the real last thing. We know about the red shoes. I'm going to put you on the spot. Look right in there and tell everybody watching something about you that nobody knows.
I'm a fan of ramen. If you don't know what ramen is, Google it. It's a great dish, but I love ramen.
Like the ramen noodles, like Mr. Noodles?
Yeah, no. It's to another level. You gotta go to the ramen shop.
All right.
Get the official ramen. It's great.
I love it. All right, we're going to send it off to break. It's 39-37. Huskies leading. Cash Lawrence, thanks for this.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for being.
When you're heading out on the roads or sending the kids off to school, having an accurate weather forecast is important.
It's a classic nor'easter, in fact.
No one takes the science of weather more seriously than CTV Atlantic's chief meteorologist, Cindy Day.
Chilly temperatures on the way, Steve.
Cindy's comprehensive forecast and most accurate outlook will prepare you for what's ahead on TV, online, and in your community. Find out first with Cindy Day, the meteorologist more Maritimers trust.
Is that 5TV? Oh, you know it, man.
With ultra-stunning 4K picture quality.
I love using Restart.
I use that all the time.
We love having Crave TV and Netflix right on it.
And having all my TVs set up wirelessly, it's amazing.
Can you imagine some people still don't have 5 TV?
I don't have it. Because I was living abroad.
With so many reasons to love 5TV, it's time to make the switch to the best TV service.
Hi, I'm Scott.
And I'm Kevin.
We're brothers who founded the New Scotland Company to celebrate where we come from.
When we came up with the idea of New Scotland, it was a moment I'll never forget. It just felt right.
We make goods for people that appreciate traditions but aren't afraid to make new ones.
We don't compromise on quality. We source our products in Canada and Nova Scotia. Family, friends, music, our home, that's what's important to us, and we're going to continue making goods that reflect that.
Hi, I'm Sasha Kapos of the Dow Tigers. Thank you for coming out to support university basketball. Please have fun, but stay safe. This message brought to you by Budweiser Prohibition, the zero-alcohol beer that actually tastes like beer. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy freely.
Just brushing your teeth before class? Just brushing your teeth? Did Michelangelo just paint the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel? It's a private moment in a private bathroom. Paint student. Paint your masterpiece.
Gatorade Perform. Fuel's better than water. Fuel better, perform better.
Is that 5TV?
Oh, you know it, man.
With ultra-stunning 4K picture quality.
I love using Restart.
I use that all the time.
We love having Crave TV and Netflix right on it.
And having all my TVs set up wirelessly, it's amazing.
Can you imagine some people still don't have 5 TV?
I don't have it. Because I was living abroad.
With so many reasons to love 5TV, it's time to make the switch to the best TV service.
Welcome back, fans, to AUS men's basketball action here live on Bell Line 5 TV1. And at the half of the second quarterfinal in the 2017 AUS Subway Men's Basketball Championships, the St. Mary's Huskies have a 2-point lead, 39-37, over the stfx X-Men. Now, Adam, when you look up and down the St. Mary's roster, there's 3 main players, 3 fifth years. They were all members of the 2014 AUS Championship Huskies: Marquis Clayton, Theon Reefer, and Brian Rose. We expected all 3 to have big games. So far, it's been this guy, Theon Reefer, who's had a big game, but Marquis Clayton and Brian Rose have been completely quiet on the score sheet.
Yeah, they're both been shut down, but what do you do when your teammate is down? You pick him up, and Theon Reefer has had one of the highlight games of his career here at the Scotiabank Center so far. So he did it mid-range, he did it from 3, he did it in transition with a nasty throwdown, and we're going to have to see what stfx has to say about that.
And who better to hear from than the legendary coach himself? We're going to send it down to Scott Squires on the sideline with Coach Kinchalski. Scott?
And Coach, a very closely contested first half. From the first half, what did you like about what you saw from your guys? What would you like them to see them continue with?
Well, we battled and we mixed it up. I think they're paying extra special attention to Kevin Bursey as the MVP of the league, and we have to spend a little bit more attention on Theon Reefer. He's lighting us up to 18 points. We got to stop him.
And certainly Kevin Bursey, a main man for you guys. You just referenced him. It took him a while before he got on the scoreboard, and then he got hot for a couple of minutes. What can you do to free him up a little more and get him more space in this second half?
Well, we got to get him more touches closer to the basket. He's, they're double teaming him and keeping the ball out of his hands. But he's got to get on the offensive glass and find his own.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Thanks for this. Good luck second half.
Thank you.
Guys.
Some wise words from the all-time winningest coach in the history of Canadian University basketball, Coach Steve Kinchalski.
Yeah, nice to give a shout out to some local hoops guys. Rated back set Coach Paul Ward and Eric McMillan. Northeast Kings Titans bringing a couple players into the game. Minor basketball in the Annapolis Valley. Shout out.
As we begin the second half, right back to work is Theon Reefer, but he can't finish the jam.
But, Coach K is right on it. They did a decent job. St. Mary's had 9 turnovers. They came into the game only giving up about 12 in an entire contest. That was second in the AUS for best. But, St. FX has got to convert more of those for points, and that's where they lacked, was the guard play, and Charles needs to pick it up.
Akeel Charles showing off that speed burst, able to lull the defense to sleep and then explode to the rim. Lual long 2, can't get that to go. And here comes Charles the other way. Now Antoine steps through, puts it up. Can't get it to go off glass, but there's Bursey. And Kevin Bursey, bit of a rough first half for his standards, just 6 points, but right back to work. Ties it up, actually gives St. FX the lead, 41-39, heading to the free throw line.
Well, it's great initial defense there on the drive. Marquis Clayton got his body between the basketball and the rim, forced a tough shot, but there's a big vacuum behind the driver that time. Bursey was the only player who ran into it. 3 Huskies jerseys stayed out on the perimeter, no whites in there. turns into another board. More points for the X-Men.
And now the X-Men lead by 3. It's been a tight game. Neither team has led by more than 5 points. Reefer for 3 and banks that one in from a tough angle. Theon Reefer up to 21 points on just 10 shots from the field.
Yeah, he's happy to see that go down after the missed dunk. You can tell he's going to keep shooting that basketball.
Now Antoine looking down low for Cam Walker. Walker can't hit, but Bursey is there for the hustle, and that ball ends up in the hands of the Huskies. Brian Rose brings it across the timeline. Rose was held scoreless in the first half, as was this guy, Marquis Clayton, first team AUS All-Star. And Clayton showing why right there. So tough when he's going to the hoop.
Yeah, I like that idea. Bring the big man up there. See if you can free him up. That time it was a baseline ball screen as more transition offense for stfx. But get the ball in Marquis' hands. Set some big guys up there. Free him up. He's going to go score the basketball.
Devontae Provo able to answer on the other end. It's been the guard play that's been the difference so far in this second half. A lane for 3. That's off. But the offensive rebound by Reefer and the finish. And he's headed right back to the free throw line. Theon Reefer having the game of his life here under the bright lights of the Scotiabank Center. He's got 23.
Just crashes in there. Akil Charles doesn't fill the free throw line. The guard rebound. Reefer gets that one with a chance for an extra. But I want to bring highlight to a little something you and I talked about at halftime off cameras, that Brian Revs just doesn't have the usual pop to his game. You saw him a couple times with sizing up his defender one-on-one in that last possession. Normally that's money time for Brian. Just doesn't have an explosion. Not sure what's going on here tonight with him.
Rose, a player who has battled ankle injuries throughout his AUS career, and that time showing some leaping ability on the block shot. Now the Huskies want to run. Reefer. Clayton is going to slow it down. One-on-one with Charles, kicks it. Rose now. And Reefer dishes it to his bench. A little bit of confusion that time as he throws it to no one in particular.
Tried to pass that to Al King, the official. Al might have been a shooter back in the day, but long since passed.
Now Charles with the X-Men trailing by 3. And that's going to be a blocking foul coming up against the Huskies. Rouse. It's going to be the 3rd personal against Brian Rouse. Second team foul against the Huskies.
Again, it's a tough scenario there where Charles puts his head down. His head of steam is most definitely off balance towards the basket. Rouse just didn't quite get himself square enough in the opinion of the official. Balance on defense so important. If the offensive player is off balance and comes into you, it's quite obvious if you're set. That time, neither players did a great job of really engaging themselves in the possession.
Huskies bring it across half. Clayton. Over for Rouse. Reefer in the high post, defended by Pasley, and Theon Reefer, anything he touches is turning to gold today.
Yeah, you know, the stroke is just, it's a flatter one, not a lot of arc on it. He just puts that up, gets that into the rack. Lots of rotation on the ball, though. Gives it a chance to go in every single time.
Antoine turns that over. Here come the Huskies in transition. Clayton explodes to the hoop, can't finish, but Reefer is there for the offensive rebound.
Pasley's in a tough matchup here with Clayton.
And Clayton wants to shoot off back rim. And that's going to be the 4th personal foul against Brian Rose. And Coach Jonah Tossig is not happy with official Paul Hansen.
Well, Rose is going to have to come out. That's his 4th personal, I believe, that time.
And in for Rose will come Will Fyander, who was a spark off the bench for the Huskies there. Bit of confusion as the official, Al King, thought Tossig was taking a timeout. He says he doesn't want one. And you see the look on his face right there. It's frustration, but the Huskies still up 3.
Yeah, just a bit of a tough sequence there overall. Revs caught himself underneath the rebounder there, has to take a seat. You know, the bench players have been great. James was great, Fyander was great in the first half, so a little bit of a blessing in disguise. As they're going to give this foul to Fyander. Before the shots, it's going to be a sideline out of bounds. Let's see if he fouls him before the travel takes place. Turns in there. A little bit of contact on the side. Provo goes down. Again,
tough call to make. Both there players falling to the floor as Cameron Walker goes back to work down low. And it's back to a 1-point game, 49-48. The Huskies with a slim lead. Need to get it across half and do. Fyander off for Clayton. Clayton now going to slow it down. Finds a lane wide open. A lane up and in on the reverse layup. Nice find there by Clayton.
Yeah, great find. And you got to battle through some frustration pieces. You know, it's easy to think about the officiating, but even for us sitting here, and you get away from thinking about the X's and O's of the game. That time Clayton slows it down. Nice cut and find for Aline.
Charles with the long two, can't get that to go. Reefer with the defensive board. Now the Huskies want to run, 2-on-1. Lual, lots of contact, and he's going to head to the line to shoot two. That foul going to go against Julius Antoine. And Lual, another guy with just 2 points, does have 8 rebounds, but hasn't offensively broken out so far in this game.
Yeah, he's had a couple shots where he's forced it quickly on the catch and shoot. He's better when his feet are set underneath him. The thing is about St. Mary's, what's catalyst for this little mini run is that they're getting 5 bodies in the paint to defensive rebound. They're able to get it. Guards are quick out in transition. They hit the lanes on both left and right hand sides. They've shown that. And then a nice find from Fyander that time, sending Ashul to the line.
And now we see a pair of first years return for the X-Men in Nicholas Russell and Justin Andrew, as they look for a spark to cut into this 5-point lead.
Russell was great first half, 3 for 4, 7 points.
Antoine now looking down low for Daniel Passley. Passley working on Lual in the post, and he gets it to go. Tough finish there by Daniel Passley, and his hair whips around as he flies back up the court.
Passley did well not to travel that time, kept his balance, found the glass.
And that time, Theon Reefer dribbles off his foot, so a turnover. And just like that, the X-Men have a chance to tie it up or cut it to a 1-point game with a score here. Provo off now for Antoine. Antoine showing off the crossover, puts it up. Lots of contact, no call.
I'm not sure where he's going there, Alan. You know, they're set plays to get the post high-low, and he goes into right where they're trying to set up a guy. The help defense is built in for St. Mary's.
Some great hustle there by Elaine, but a sloppy possession by the Huskies as Clayton threw it to no one. And that's a second straight turnover for the Huskies. They're going to have to take a bit better care of the basketball. That's 13 turnovers now in this one. Provo hangs and knocks down the 15-footer.
More of a solid screen from Russell that time, sending Provo into that elbow area.
Huskies with some dangerous passes here. Now Reefer going 1-on-2, and it doesn't matter. Theon Reefer, ladies and gentlemen. Flex because you're stronger than everyone else. He's got 28 and heading right back to the free throw line.
Well, Passley just got himself in a tough spot this time. Reefer, full extension with the right hand, somehow spun that up and in. He's got the magic tonight.
The numbers are ridiculous. 28 points, 10 of 13 from the field. Misses the free throw, but Theon Reefer with more than half of the Huskies' points so far in this one. Passley, well defended by Martindale, and they're going to call a jump ball. It'll remain X-Men ball with 17 seconds on the shot clock.
And that's not the option if you're St. FX. You know, Passley's not looking to back down. I know he feels like maybe he can attack Martindale, but he's a strong dude in there. Martindale sat in there, couldn't get anywhere on the back down dribble. You got to move the basketball around here, find some of these elite scorers.
Provo orchestrating the X-Men offense. Defended by Clayton. Takes a screen now from Russell. Nice pocket pass for Passley. And Passley once again finishing through the contact, heading to the line for a chance at 3 the old-fashioned way and to tie this one up.
Yeah, same sort of contact at both ends. You see Clayton jumps over the top of the screen. That time Reefer looked like maybe he wanted to soft hedge that. ends up coming into the body of Martindale, is trying to make anything happen there.
And Passley able to knock it down from the charity stripe with 3:39 to play in the third quarter. We're all tied up 55-55.
Cordero James is back in for Clayton, and he was a real X factor himself. 2 of 3, 1 for 2 from downtown, 5 points.
Elaine takes the Martindale screen, pulls up, can't get the jumper to go. Martindale working to keep it alive on the glass, but Justin Andrew cleans it up. Now Andrew decides to slow it down and leave it for Devontae Provo, and the X-Men are going to call a play here. Provo, he'll pull the trigger on a 3-ball, can't get it to go, and Martindale with the defensive board.
St. FX's offense so out of sync without Kevin Bursey right now, sitting down with 3 fouls, and it's affecting them defensively.
Beautiful play there in transition. Will Finder with the gorgeous dish, finding Martindale for the reverse layup, and that gives the Huskies a 2-point lead.
You know, you hear teams say sometimes good defense leads to offense. For St. FX, when they're scoring the basketball, it fires them up into the defensive end. They get in a little deeper stance, their energy is better, they get more touches, more steals, more turnovers. Right now they're not scoring and they look absolutely deflated on the defensive end.
Yeah, without Kevin Bursey in there, the X-Men look lost offensively. Bursey again sitting with 3 fouls, and that time a foul against Nicholas Russell on the block will send Elaine back to the free throw line.
Great drive, earning the contact. Elaine picks his angles good. He is a fast player, don't get me wrong, but he puts himself in positions to succeed. His eyes are up on the catch almost every single time, and he's able to explode into that open space.
As he hits the free throw, Kamar Lane in his 3rd year out of Scarborough, Ontario, averages about 9 points, 2.5 assists per game for the Huskies, and was an AUS All-Rookie Team member 2 years ago. Can't hit the second free throw. Russell with the rebound. Now Provo, defended by Elaine, puts the crossover on and can't finish on the floater.
Sorry, Al, he's rejecting that ball screen, and all he sees is white jerseys in there. Not sure what he thinks he's going to accomplish. Devontae Provo having a tough night.
Elaine now hands it off for Reefer. Reefer, the hot hand, with 28 of the Huskies' 58 points, and putting the moves on right there. Martindale there to tip it up and in. Well, Theon Reefer just attracts so much attention offensively that it opens things up for his teammates on follows, and Martindale took advantage that time.
It'll tell you a little bit how things are going for St. FX. We've been kind of thinking Devontae's been forcing it, and he's their leading scorer with 10 points.
Foul there against Fiander on the Justin Andrew drive. And now we see a wave of substitutes, and they're big ones. Kevin Bursey, Julius Antoine, and Akil Charles. 3 of the starters for the X-Men come back into the game, and for St. FX, sense a little bit of pressure here, trailing by 5. You don't want to go into the third quarter down much to this very solid Huskies team.
Yeah, Coach Kachalski has to feel this time that now's the time to go get it. Disciplined defense is going to be in order for St. FX. They most certainly can't foul. They're looking for a sub. St. Mary's not going to let him in.
As Reefer now coming across half court, finds Martindale. Little 16-footer is no good. And Andrew with the defensive board. And we're going to get a technical foul here to Theon Reefer. And that's a major call. That's foul number 4 on Reefer. And it gives the X-Men a chance.
Well, there's a lot of emotion out here, Alan. There's a lot that gets said. The way I'm looking at this is, you sometimes have to know when to look up at the lights. Hear the squeaky shoes on the floor. Theon's running back. He's the star of the game, 28 points. Gonna go to the bench now, as you said, with 4th personal foul. He may have got hit. I'll say this. He shouldn't say anything. You put yourself in that position where they can hear it, and they're gonna call it. However, there's times where the natural run of a ball game, that's not necessarily something you see every day that gets whistled down.
as Andrew continues to struggle from the free throw line. An 89% shooter in the regular season. He's now 1 of 3. Those technical free throws are shots that you can't leave on the line, especially in such a tight game.
Well, they have Reefer for 3 on the board here, Alan, so maybe they'll be a little bit off the hook. Nonetheless, he's to the bench as Ross can't draw the call for Fiander.
Now Fiander. Tristan Arthur's catch and shoot from the corner just off the back rim, and the X-Men want to run. Their sharpshooter, Tristan Ross, attacks the basket and finishes around the defender, and Ross has really added that ability to drive the basket to his game over this past year.
He's been tough at the rim, quick little releases, gets it up on the glass, reads the shot blocking very well.
Arthurs now drops it off for a Lane. He can't finish, but he'll head to the line. Foul coming this time against Julius Antoine.
St. Mary's starting to catch that ball inside the charge circle. They have angled position. Coach Gay is trying to say that St. Mary's is traveling off the dribble as they hit that punch pass inside. But it's the ability to catch that, keep your eyes up, see where the defense is. And Marlene uses both sides of the rim very well, avoids shot blockers that way by switching sides.
Elaine goes 1 of 2 from the free throw line. He's up to 9 points on the night. And the Huskies with a 3-point lead with just under 53 seconds to play in this third quarter. Cameron Walker and Lual, a pair of big men returning to the game as these coaches starting to play chess out here. Lots of different lineups as we get into winning time.
We'll see if St. FX goes to the familiar chance of getting the horn set up there, getting the ball in Kevin Burse's hands. They're going to go down low instead. Watch them bring Walker across. Here he comes.
Bursey now working on Lual. Puts up the floater and gets it to drop. Friendly bounce off the rim. And the AUS MVP now up to 11 points. He's been quiet, but still leads the X-Men in this one.
Good play call that time for St. FX, bringing the action to one side. Bursey driving it to the other, but wide open lane, blow by for Fiander.
Will Fiander up to 5 points now off the bench. He's been a key player for the Huskies in a game where their guards have really struggled to get it going. Charles.
Good defense by James in the denial.
From deep, off back rim, and James skies up for the rebound, and that'll do it. So after 30 minutes of basketball action, the SMU Huskies take a 3-point lead into the fourth quarter, 63-60. We'll be right back after these messages with the fourth quarter, see who will win and move on to the semifinals. Stay tuned right here on Bellline 5 TV1.
Is that 5 TV?
Oh, you know it, man.
With ultra-stunning 4K picture quality.
I love using Restart.
I use that all the time.
We love having Crave TV and Netflix right on it.
And having all my TVs set up wirelessly, it's amazing.
Can you imagine some people still don't have 5 TV?
I don't have it. Because I was living abroad.
With so many reasons to love 5 TV, it's time to make the switch to the best TV service.
Back at Scotiabank Center, a tight quarterfinal going here. St. Mary's leading St. FX by a score of 63-60. Very pleased to be joined now by the president of Atlantic University Sport, as well as the athletic director for St. Francis Xavier University, Leo McPherson. And first of all, Leo, let's talk about this game. How are the nerves right now? I know I had Kevin Dickey on earlier during the Acadia game. I got you during next. How you doing?
Well, you know what, doing well. It's a highly contested game. This is pretty much where I thought it would be after 3 quarters. Whoever puts 4 quarters together will come out on the high end of this. How many times have X and St. Mary's played on this court over the years? I mean, it'll go down to the wire.
And, you know, at St. FX, so much of a great athletic history, but what does it mean to the St. FX program, you know, the iconic X-Ring, but to have a legend like Steve Konchalski coaching for you? What does that mean?
Well, I spoke last night at the awards gala, and it's all about passion. I mean, who gets 900 wins, 3 national championships, numerous AUS titles without a healthy dose of passion? So, you know, our whole department runs on passion capital, and he leads the way.
final thing for you, it's been a very successful couple of years for St. FX. Of course, your football program, the two-time defending conference champs, your hockey team on the men's side, defending champs going into the final, and of course your team here today in the final six. What does the success, or where does the success at X come from?
Well, you know, the success helps elevate our brand. It comes from the Passion Capital. We don't have the most resources, we don't have the most people on staff, but we got the most committed staff going. And, you know, this year we'll probably send 10 teams to national championships. And if our X-Men basketball team can win a couple games, we'll send 11. And that's unheard of in our history.
Well, certainly on behalf of ourselves at 5TV1 and Bell Line, I want to thank you, Krista McKenna, Leah Bond, and all of the coaches of St. FX. You guys are great to us year in and year out, so thank you for that.
Well, and right back at you. Thank you for all you do to support Atlantic University Sport and St. FX along the way.
Thanks very much. That's Leah McPherson, president of Atlantic University Sport and the athletic director of St. FX. Guys.
Thanks, Scott. Well, yeah, Leo said it great right there. They're a small school, but the passion for the St. FX X-Men varsity athletics is high, and we're seeing that here tonight. As that time, Justin Andrew misses the layup. Still a three-point game here.
Well, St. Mary's started off with some energy in the quarter, got their 11th offensive rebound. Couldn't really get anything off, a bit of a phantom offensive foul call. But St. FX couldn't answer. Again, when you get these turnovers, you need to turn them into some points.
Martindale with the baseline jumper, and he connects.
He's just keeping on shooting, and with good reason. 4-7, confidence in himself, love the energy, keeps the team together, and is always ready to play any night.
Yeah, Brent Martindale up to 10.7 rebounds off the bench for the Huskies. He's been huge in a game where, like we mentioned, some of their stars, Luol, Clayton, Rouse, have been quiet. It's been some of the bench players or the lesser heralded contributors like Martindale and Cordero James and Will Fiander who have lifted their play for the Huskies.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he got called for a foul that time, but Bursey is kind of feeling the presence of Martindale now. He's not getting the easy looks as he hit, and look at Martindale block him out that time, even though the basket was made. He's wearing down Bursey.
Tough hook shot in the lane by Cameron Walker, the forward out of Dallas, Texas. And it cuts it right back to a three-point game. 65-62. Clayton gonna work some clock here. Takes the screen from Luol, kicks it back out to his big man. Clayton now, he'll pull the trigger on a three. Still nothing going from deep for Clayton. Has just 2 points in this game for a player who averaged just about 20 per game. Ross for three, that's off. But Walker is there for the offensive rebound and the putback. Cameron Walker big to start this fourth quarter.
Yeah, he's kind of asserting himself in the post because St. FX has gotten anything in the paint. The guards aren't getting in there necessarily anymore. They're going to need to do some more traditional stuff, run through their sets, get some action going.
Cordero James catch and shoot. That's long, but Luol is there for the offensive rebound.
Walker's got to work down this end too.
Slow it down, use some clock. Martindale back in his spot, turn around, hands it off for James. James, tough fadeaway. And the turnaround jumper for Cordero James, not looking like a first year out there.
No, very presence. What's impressive about him is that physically he came into the league ready to play. Well, oftentimes rookies fade down the stretch, particularly with some heavy early minutes, but he's just keeping on trucking.
Now Walker going right back to work at Martindale. Great defense that time by Martindale to get a piece of it. Clayton brings it across half. And Provo, great job in the passing lanes. And Provo showing that speed. No one can catch up to him. Cuts it to a 1-point game, and St. Mary's wants to take a timeout.
Yeah, more so they just want to get the Reefer back into the ball game. He's going to come in with Aline and Rouse. Been solid bench minutes for the Huskies. This unit just hasn't been able to pull away because normally they're able to be anchored by Marquise Clayton, and he's just not scoring the basketball tonight. 1 for 8. Normally he's an absolute assassin in the Scotiabank Center here. And don't get me wrong, if they get past this round, he might very well be tomorrow night. But that unit is not being able to be held together. But what it is role players like Brent Martindale being able to step up. Check out this guy running the floor, catching the pass, quick release on the top. Reefer doing his thing. Look at Martindale. He's lying, waiting. Offensive board tip in. Look at him run back just as hard as he got down there. And here he is. He loves those short corners. Knocked that one down. Look, he's looking at the crowd. This guy is a special person in the AUS.
Yeah, Brent Martindale brings a lot of energy to this Huskies team, whether it's in a game or practice. Really one of, like you mentioned, a great character, great player too. He has 8 of his 10 points in the second half here, adding 7 rebounds as well. So big contributions off of the Huskies bench here. And a 1-point game with 7:05 to play. This is where heroes are made at the Scotiabank Center in March.
And I'm going to add one more thing about Clayton. I suspect there may be a big shot from him down the stretch here. He doesn't mind missing 7. He's going to shoot 8, 9, 10, 11. And he could hit one splash when it counts. Tight game here. stfx stay in the course. They're not feeling good yet, and they're only down 1.
Brian Rose back in the game as well. He's been quiet. Rose puts it up and gets it to go, and that is his first bucket of the game. Brian Rose, just 1 of 2 for the AUS second team All-Star that averaged around 15 points a game. Provo, well, he might have had some mistakes in the first 3 quarters, but he's been solid in this 4th quarter. Provo now leads the X-Men in scoring with 14 points.
Yeah, he's up to 6 of 12 shooting. There's Martindale again. He gets clubbed underneath. Yeah, Walker got the feet out from under him, it looked like that time. But what I was about to say for stfx, what I liked offensively is they're starting to do some different things on that end. They went guard to guard screen with Ross and Provo, freed it up. St. Mary's were a little bit unsure. See, there's another case, Alan, who's trying to draw the foul there. Walker, could he have stood up there and tried to just take charge? Sure he could. Would it have been a tough finish on the back end there for Martindale? Sure it would. Instead, he's going to the line because you're trying to draw that foul. I like sacrificing the body, but you got to know time, score, situational play.
Martindale now on the free throw line. Can't knock down the first. 62% free throw shooter is the 3rd-year forward out of Kingston, Ontario. Can't hit either, and Bursey with the defensive board. Still a 1-point game. Walker down in the post, goes right at Martindale, and good help D that time from Clayton to force it out of bounds. Will remain X-Men ball with 17 on the shot clock.
And Clayton's working hard on defense as well, Alan. He's right in the grill, trying to stay in front of these speedy guards. Help down there, Rose up, got a piece of that.
Bursey now working on Reefer. Bursey up and under and in. And Kevin Bursey now up to 13 points and 7 rebounds. The AUS MVP is heating up in this second half.
How much? That's his first really clean look where he's got a quick catch and spin on it. Kept his pivot foot very well.
And that time a steal by Bursey. The X-Men are off and running. Charles, oh my, what a finish by Charles, hanging in the air, going around the world and finishing over Marquis Clayton.
Yeah, the hang time there is impressive. He might have woke Clayton up here though.
As Clayton goes right at him on the other end, and Charles is going to pick up the block and foul.
I'm going to say he's not shooting that one. Foul got hit before he began the act of shooting. Nice job there putting it on the baseline. St. Mary's all of a sudden are just being quiet. They're not talking to each other. They're just playing their role, doing their job.
Reefer with the 18-footer, can't get it to go, but once again, Brent Martindale is there on the offensive glass for the putback.
12 points, 8 rebounds, picking it up. Ashul Lual's been out for an extended period of time now because they don't need to have him in there. He's doing the job.
Provo now working screen and roll with Bursey, can't finish, and Martindale is there for a huge rebound.
Couple solid screens there for Max, just ran into a big, strong defender in Reefer.
Huskies now trailing by 1. Martindale. And he's become the go-to guy in this 4th quarter. Brent Martindale, just too big, too strong. The stfx men cannot stop Brent Martindale.
It's pretty cool when you see a guy who puts in his time every day for years and just knew that he has the confidence in himself to do this. His teammates have his back. The middle of the 4th quarter sometimes is a tough stretch where a game can either come to you or get away from you. And St. Mary's has put themselves in a position to win because of this guy.
Now on the defensive assignment of locking down the MVP, and does. And now Clayton coming the other way. The Huskies lead by 1. He's going to slow it down and use some clock. Reefer has a mismatch here and is whistled for an offensive foul, and that will be his fourth. As Theon Reefer called for pushing off that time, had the much shorter Justin Andrew on him. Let's take a look.
Well,
well sold by Justin Andrew.
Well sold. I mean, he gets the right arm into the body. From where the official's looking through there may have been some extension. Andrew had no chance but to do anything else but that. And he got the call that time. I like the recognition for St. Mary's to go there on the mismatch. But St. FX is hanging tough, hanging around despite all this St. Mary's momentum.
Yeah, still a 1-point game now into the final 5 minutes. And we're going to send it down once again to Scott Squires on the sideline. Scott?
Thanks, Alan. And you said we were in that part of the game where errors were made. Well, we'll see if at all that game last week that we had right here on 5TV1, the same St. FX X-Men taking on a tough UPEI Panther team. The Panthers playing for pride. And that game was a thriller. It went into overtime, and UPEI gave St. FX everything they could handle, forcing the X-Men to battle tooth and nail right to the very end. So we even talked about on the broadcast last week, if a battle-tested game like that maybe somehow, some way, help the X-Men in a close game. And you never know, something to keep in the back of your mind. That tight game last week and the heroics, especially from Akil Charles, we'll see what happens here. But the X had a good test last week, getting another one tonight, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. And you mentioned battle-tested. Both these teams are very battle-tested. The Huskies, their senior night was something to behold, too, as Marquis Clayton hit a game-winning buzzer beater in a big win against Acadia. And again, the fifth-year players on St. Mary's, Clayton, Reefer, Rose, all three were members of St. Mary's 2014 AUS championship team, and they're hungry to return to glory to finish off their AUS careers 4.5 minutes away from moving on to the semifinal against UMB.
And as much as X is running offense through Bursey and Walker, the big thing St. Mary's doing defensively is they're not letting them get loose from three-point range. St. FX only one made three-pointer. Tristan Ross hasn't attempted a three. They've been in his shirt. Justin Andrews 0 for 2 from out there. He hasn't been open. That's been a key point for the Huskies defense and has taken X out of it.
And here comes Marquis Clayton. We mentioned the fourth quarter is Clayton time. Just his second bucket of the game on that lay-in, but he does have 7 assists to go along with his 4 points.
Yeah, and I mean, how quick does that happen? You know, Huskies right now, they're feeling like they can do almost anything at the offensive end. They need to protect the paint down here. St. FX looking to stuff it down in the blue.
Provo works off the ball screen, gets it over to Julius Antoine. Antoine, SMU fans want to travel. Went out of bounds, and the officials are going to make a decision here. And it's going to remain X-Men ball, much to the disbelief of Coach Tossig and the Huskies bench.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of lost possession a little bit as the ball popped out on him. Kicked that with his lots of traffic there for the baseline official to see. Nice look inside. Needs to be some better help there for that one, but 2 seconds on the shot clock.
Provo puts it up from 35, can't draw iron, and here come the Huskies the other way. It's Marquis Clayton. Clayton once again trying to add another chapter to his legendary career with the St. Mary's Huskies. Reefer now. Putting on the moves in the low block, and big time rebound, but it goes out of bounds. Julius Antoine rose up for that one, just wasn't able to keep it in play.
Yeah, he's in there for the boys. See, this is what Bursey does, though. He just gets in your ear and says, no problem. You're in the right spot. You put the effort in. Now let's get it back. It's only one possession ball game. 3-13. You got to feel like whoever can get 2 or 3 sustained baskets at this stage in the game might earn themselves the victory.
Now Clayton, one-on-one with Akil Charles. 3 minutes to play. Clayton, step back, puts it up. Can't get it to drop, but what a rebound there in a crowd by Kamara Lane. Back to Martindale. And he has it tied up. And it's going to go X-Men way on the possession arrow. So a big time rebound there by St. FX. Able to get a chance to tie this one up at 75.
Yeah, I was impressed with the Aline rebound through 3 X-Men. They try to hit the baseline to Martindale. Spud middle looking to score. Got to reset it on the perimeter. Charles giving Marquise Clayton no room to work on the offensive end.
Looking for Bursey down low. Bursey goes up, can't finish through 2. And Brian Rose with a big defensive board. Now the Huskies slowing it down, using the clock. It's on their side. Alain to Reefer in the high post. One-on-one with Antoine. Back down for Alain. Drops it off for Martindale. Big Brent Martindale continues to have the game of his life. Up to 16 points and 9 rebounds off the bench.
Great assist there to drop that off. Missed the right place, right time.
And Justin Andrews' layup can't go. The Huskies now with a 5-point lead, and Coach Taussig wants them to slow it down, use some clock.
Big possession here for X. They need to strap up, and likewise, if St. Mary's gets a score, they're going to be in the driver's seat.
Just got word that the attendance tonight was 35-52. What a crowd here on a Friday night, and it's only the first night of 3 this weekend, as Reefer's jump shot is no good. Here comes Charles. Charles hangs in there and finishes through the contact. Tough take by Akil Charles, cutting it to a 1-point game.
Yeah, nice transition defense there for Brian Rouse. Better finish from Charles. stfx looking for that key stop score they got there. Can they get another one?
Reefer hands it right back to Alain. Alain looking for Martindale, and what a catch and what a finish. It's Brent Martindale's world, and we're all just living in it. He is fired up. The Huskies are fired up. Brent Martindale is putting the team on his back.
If stfx hasn't figured it out yet, they're getting beat off the dribble. Someone needs to drop down there and find this guy. I mean, how many times it's like the same scenario over and over and over, and he keeps going in there. Look at this extra work here. Banks that one off the glass. There he goes back on D. Here he's going to go one-on-one. This is when you know you're feeling good, as you start to pull stuff like that off. There's the emotion you see. Here we go. The dump down. 2 guys come. No drop on that side. Martindale once again. Let's take a look. Drive. 2 guys help. Keel Charles is late dropping down. Easy bucket. These are naked, wide open layups.
Nothing outside of 5 feet away from the basket. And Martindale, 18 points, 9 of 12 from the field, having the game of his life here under the bright lights of the Scotiabank Center, looking to send his team into a semifinal tomorrow night against UNB.
Yeah, you know what's interesting too, Alan, is that all this penetration from St. Mary's, stfx normally at one of these timeouts earlier in the second half, they jump into a zone. We saw they started the game in a zone. None of that this game from Coach Konchowski, which is interesting, as he normally tries to get that stuff in. And conversely, no Nick Russell here so far in the latter stages of the fourth. I thought he's been a pretty solid addition, particularly on the glass where St. Mary's is trying to pick it up. Justin Andrews out there, he's 0 for 4. He's getting extended minutes in a time where you don't often necessarily see him. But they're going 3 guards with Andrew, Provo, and Antoine.
And Brent Martindale has the Huskies bench fired up. They love to see a guy who works so hard day in, day out, have a lot of success, and he's got the whole team's energy level riding high here. Antoine, tough shot. Oh my, how did he get that shot to go down?
Well, it's pretty good defense. He does step up into his body and bump him. But check this out. He's there holding his ground, 1, 2. Yeah, see, he steps up there right at the last second, gets into the body, which makes the concentration level for Antoine to knock that down even more impressive. He's got that back to the basket game. Nice call out at the timeout.
Big time play there by Julius Antoine. Cuts it to a 2-point game. Antoine now up to 11 points on the evening. 1 minute remains. It's a 2-point game here. Trip to the semifinal on the line. Great hustle there by Alain, but Bursey winds up with it, and Theon Reefer is done. Called for his 5th personal foul, and Theon Reefer is going to have to take a seat here. A major loss for the SMU Huskies.
And it's a scenario where it's a loose ball. It gets dove on. stfx is on the move, getting away from the play. Again, Theon, don't reach out there. But he grazes him, gets hit with the foul. He's going to have to come out with under a minute to play. Now, that being said, Alan, he hasn't scored in a little bit here. He's been stuck on 28 for a long time. He still put in his work tonight. It's going to be in the hands of some free throw shooters now for St. FX. St. Mary's is in the penalty. St. FX still has one foul to give so they can stay aggressive on the next defensive possession, try to shoot those lanes, be physical with the ball handler. But St. Mary's needs to take care of the basketball in this next possession, get a quality shot, regardless if they're still up or if X ties the game. And regardless right now, it's execution time. You go 20 games deep in the regular season. You put yourself in a position to be in a tight, grinded out basketball game. Players have shown their roles. Martindale's been big. Reaper's been big. Provo's allowed X to hang around with his 14 points. Bercy's been steady, 6 of 12, shooting 50% for his 13 points. The big thing for St. FX is they're not getting to the free throw line as much as they're used to. I mean, 12 and 19. I guess, you know what? I'll take that back. They're there. They left 7 points at the line. That's tough to do in the playoffs. More than anything now, there's going to be someone be a hero. Is it going to be an unheralded guy, or is it going to be an established star? We're about to see.
Well, it won't be Theon Reaper, at least not tonight,
Right.
as he's taken a seat with 5 personal fouls. A major loss for the Huskies, but Reaper, he had scored all 28 of his points heading into the third quarter, hadn't scored here in the fourth, where it's been the Brent Martindale show. And Bercy on the free throw line with a chance now to tie it up at 79 with less than a minute to play. Can't hit the second. Big time rebound there by Brian Rose. And now the Huskies look to kill some clock.
So again, quality shot. That's what they need right now. Martindale's going to be a big body. Nice screen.
Clayton, step back, can't get it to go. The tip out by Martindale ends up in the hands of Clayton. Fresh 14. Shot clock down now to 6. Rose through the double team, and he's whistled for a travel. Big time call, lots of contact, but Rose is whistled for steps. And with 27 seconds to play, we're going to take another look at this one here. So here's Rose.
Well, I tell you, there's contact there. Something has to go on. The whistle came well after he stepped through. St. Mary's going to feel tough about that one.
So now a chance for the X-Men. 2-second difference, shot and game clock. Bercy kicks it out for Provo. Provo, 18-footer, rims out. Bercy with the offensive rebound, and Martindale ties it up. And that'll be Huskies basketball. Another huge play by Brent Martindale. It was an open look for Devontae Provo. What did you think about that shot?
Good look, and Provo did a nice job, got on the left-handed player, got an open look on the pull-up jump shot, have no problem with that. Martindale's on the way down to the ground and ties this one up. See, that's an open look, just rimmed out, tough shot. Check this, he's falling down, grabs the basketball, secures it without fouling. Excellent job there that time. I think the biggest thing for St. FX is that they tried to put it in the hands of Bercy. The defense for St. Mary's was great. Right on top of him at the foul line. 2 guys converged on Cameron Walker in the paint. They couldn't go high-low, had to go outside. Textbook defense, nice job, and it paid off. So I think the other thing you got to look at here for St. FX, so you're looking at this. St. Mary's has been to the line 10 of 16 themselves, so they haven't been stellar from there. So you got to make sure, put them there to the line after you play some defense if need be. Secure a rebound, every rebound so essential. Find Brent Martindale, that's going to be a huge key there as well. And who was ever to tell you, quarterfinal, St. Mary's, under 1 minute to play, Martindale and Will Fyander to finish the game. You wouldn't have thought it. These guys have been impressive as young, unheralded stars.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's a game where the Huskies stars struggled. Their seniors, Clayton with 4, Rose with 2. Reaper had himself a game with 28, but he's fouled out now. It's been Martindale, it's been Fyander, it's been Kamara Lane who have carried the Huskies this far. And now they're 8.4 seconds away and 1 defensive stop away from moving on to a matchup tomorrow night against the UMB Varsity Reds in the AUS semifinal.
Let's set it up here, Alan. So St. FX is going to play a little bit of defense off the ball. They have a foul to give, so they're going to be very aggressive, have to make sure that basketball comes into play before they do any sort of fouling whatsoever. But a lot of foot movement here. They're going to move the sides back to give Rouse some space to inbound the basketball. Sure hands of Brian Rouse.
Rouse gets it into Fyander, and Fyander is leveled by the foul, so he'll Actually, that was their foul to give. Foul charged that time against Julius Antoine. That's his 4th personal. Now with 7.2 to go, the Huskies have to do that all over again. Rouse gets it in now for Lane, and he is fouled immediately, so that'll send Kamara Lane to the free throw line. 66% on the season. Lane 3 of 6 from the stripe today, so probably the right guy to foul here as he's headed to the line for 2 big-time clutch free throws.
Seeing the ball's wet, you can visibly see that it's drenched.
Al King's gonna wipe it off on his pants here, get the towel boy involved. And you see Marquis Clayton, their captain, giving some words of encouragement to the 3rd-year Lane.
Tristan Ross going to check into the game for St. FX here as well. They're going to need to move in a hurry here. St. FX does have 1 timeout remaining. Akil Charles looking to check in here as well.
And Lane misses the first.
So if X gets this rebound on a miss, they're going to have to move with 6 seconds to go.
Hits the second, and Coach Konchowski's going to call a timeout and draw something up. So 6 seconds to go. You get the ball at midcourt. What do you expect to see from the X-Men on this final play?
Well, this is playoff basketball at its finest. You know, it's going to come down to, can we get the score to extend it into overtime? Can St. Mary's put it on the back of their defense to do it? I think the biggest thing right now, you're going to look at this ball game here for St. Mary's, is that you just need to not foul this shot. It's going to be one thing where it's going to be downhill, something quick here where you're going to look at it. Bursey might like to get it if they can extend it out to him and the foul line extended, but St. Mary's is going to know that. They're going to crowd that side of the court. Watch for St. FX do some misdirection to come back to the weak side, a quick screen, you know, throw it up top. They got to do something big here. St. Mary's perimeter defense has been great, and they've been shutting down the paint, so we're going to see what St. FX has in store, but it's going to have to be something special.
Can you feel it? It's March basketball here at the Scotiabank Center. Everything exciting happens in March, and this one is no exception. It's going to come right down to the line. The St. FX X-Men with 1 final chance to tie it up or knock off the Huskies in regulation. Teams are coming back onto the court now.
I'm going to look down here at the stat sheet, Alan, and we take a look at this for St. FX. I mean, Provo's 7 for 16, Bursey's 50%, 6 for 12. But can you get something free? The other X factor here is St. Mary's is going to be expecting it to. Can you free up a Tristan Ross? Can Akil Charles hit another heroic 3? He hit one to go down into overtime last week down at St. FX. He was big against PEI. So there would be something where if they don't have it inside, there's confidence. And they actually take Ross out and put Justin Andrew into the game. He's 0 for 4 in the ball games. This is an interesting move.
Here we go. Antoine to inbound, gets it in for Bursey, poked loose by Rose. Bursey falling to the ground, and he's fouled.
And well, I'm shocked, first of all, that Bursey wasn't more denied than he was on the initial catch. You know that he's the guy they want to go to. He squares up, draws the basketball, defender loses his footing, makes contact, sends him to the line. The initial defense on the inbound is where St. Mary's kind of went wrong on that play, and then you're going to have to live with this foul. You got one of the elite players going one-on-one.
So it's the AUS MVP stepping to the free throw line with the game on his hands. Brian Roast just fouled out as well. So if Bursey is able to knock these down and send it to overtime, the Huskies will be playing without 2 of their top 3 scorers.
Well, believe it or not, Kevin Bursey only been to the line 3 times tonight with all the action he's been involved in the paint. He was 2 for 3. St. Mary's just finished their 30 seconds there to make the substitution on the foul out from Rouse. Lou Hall is going to come into the game for rebounding purposes. Him and Martindale are going to have a big block out on the second free throw.
Bursey, a 75% free throw shooter, and can't knock down the first. And you hear the crowd here at the Scotiabank Center in Halifax making some noise. Bursey hits the second. They've got a foul and don't get the foul off, and Clayton gets rid of it, and the Huskies are moving on. The St. Mary's Huskies have booked their ticket to tomorrow night's semifinal, where they'll take on the UMB Varsity Reds.
Well, he tried to miss the second free throw, launched it, ran in there early, Couldn't get it. It bounced in. One of those few times you don't want to score. Couldn't get the foul off in time. They launch it ahead, and check out Martindale. The emotions are flowing. Reefer 28, Martindale 18, Aline 10. The 3 stars of the game for the Huskies. They went to absolute work in the fourth quarter. You look at it, X won the fourth quarter by 19-17. I guess it'll be 20-17 once they update the live stats here. But that was one for the ages. I mean, you look at it, both teams shoot really well for a playoff scenario. 47.8% for the Huskies, 46.4% for St. FX. Couldn't get any threes going. St. Mary's was 5 of 17 for 3 themselves. It was a definite old school, inside, grinded out basketball game. The forwards had a big part in it. And man, you know, St. FX is nothing to hang their heads about. They had a nice showing back in the playoffs for the first time. This young core group of guys are looking good heading into the future.
Absolutely. So the Huskies move on to play another day. They'll take on the UNB Varsity Reds tomorrow evening at 8:30 in one semifinal. The other semifinal, we'll see the Acadia Axemen take on the Dalhousie Tigers.
2 big-time matchups. I mean, tune in tomorrow night. That's going to be some basketball. If you thought this was exciting, you wait for that playoff intensity where you get a trip to go to the finals. And remember, both teams get to go to nationals this season, so tomorrow night, big stakes on the line.
And right now, we're going to send it down to Scott Squires with my boy, Big Brent Martindale, the hero of this one. Scott, take it away.
Thanks a lot, Alan. First of all, Brent, what are you feeling right now?
Too much emotion right now. You know, I got to give a lot of credit to my team, my teammates, my coach, just like give me the position to do as well as we did as a unit. That was just the great team win. There's more to come. There's more to come.
Theon Reefer started out so well, was very strong for St. Mary's, but in that fourth quarter, you were driving the bus and you told all your teammates to get on and you were going to take them to the promised land, at least in this game. What was it all about for you? What really sparked you in that fourth quarter?
I didn't want to lose.
That pretty much says it all. 18 points, 9 boards. A huge play with about 8 seconds left when the MVP, Kevin Bursey, dished off the ball to Devontae Provo. Provo missed. You fought with the reigning AUS MVP. You tied him up. You got the ball. What was going through your mind when you saw that ball go up?
It was over like that. Kevin is just a fantastic player. He's a strong guy, I'll tell you right now. And you know, I knew where the clock was. I knew where we were. I just fought as hard as I possibly could, and fortunately, the results were my favor. So I'm really thankful.
Well, you can see the emotion on your face now. It was your emotion that carried your teammates in that fourth quarter. What does this team mean to you?
This team is so much more than just a game, and like I have the privilege of being a member of St. Mary's varsity basketball team, and that's something that I don't take lightly. This is a group of guys. I'm with them every single day for about 5-6 months from the start of September to the end of March, and I wouldn't trade that for the world at all.
I know that you want to enjoy this, but just a couple of words on the matchup with the 2-seed UNB tomorrow.
UNB is a good team. I think we were 2-2 against them during the year. They got some great rookies, and Javon's a good player. He gets to the rim, so we just got to come out with that same energy, that same passion, and continue to play hard like I know we can.
Well, Brent Martindale, congratulations on the win, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Go enjoy the game. Celebration, they're yelling out from the stands that they love him, and big game certainly for Brent Martindale and the Huskies, guys.
Thanks, Scott, and yeah, that's what it's all about right there. Brent Martindale, not usually the hero, but tonight stepped up in a major way and helped lead his Huskies team to tomorrow's semifinal. Again, tomorrow, the Huskies will take on UNB Varsity Reds at 8:30. But first, the Acadia Axemen take on the Dal Tigers at 6:30, and that's just the men's side. Women's side, we've got St. Mary's and Acadia at 1 o'clock, UNB at Cape Breton at 3 o'clock. It's going to be another jam-packed day of AUS Championship basketball action right here on Beltline 5 TV1. For myself, Alan April, for Adam Detien, for Scott Squires, and the whole TV1 crew, thanks for watching, everyone. The final score here, the St. Mary's Huskies 80, the St. FX X-Men 79. Have a good night.